A scientist claims to have cracked the cause of the pharaoh's curse that was believed to have killed more than 20 people who opened King Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922. Ancient Egyptian texts threatened death by a disease that no doctor can diagnose to anyone who disturbs royal mummified remains, but Ross Fellows has suggested there was a biological reason behind the deaths. The study determined the cause was radiation poisoning from natural elements containing uranium and toxic waste that were deliberately put inside the sealed vault. Exposure to these substances could have led to certain cancers, like the one that took the life of archaeologist Howard Carter, the first person to walk inside Tut's tomb more than 100 years ago. The theory effectively proves that the tomb was indeed cursed, although in a deliberate, biological way, rather than in the supernatural manner suggested by some ancient Egyptologists. Carter died in 1939, likely of a heart attack after a long battle with Hodgkin's lymphoma, which impacts the body's germ-fighting immune system, and radiation poisoning has been linked as a cause of the cancer. Lord Carnarvon, one of the men who also walked through the treasure-filled rooms, died from blood poisoning 5 months after the discovery. He suffered a severe mosquito bite which became infected after a razor cut. Shortly after the tomb was opened, there was a brief power failure, and all the lights throughout Cairo went out. Carnarvon's son also reported that his favorite dog howled and suddenly dropped dead. Other people involved in the excavation died of asphyxia, stroke, diabetes, heart failure, pneumonia, poisoning, malaria, and X-ray exposure. They all passed in their 50s. British Egyptologist Arthur Weigall, who attended the opening of Tut's tomb and was accused of inciting the myth of the curse, died of cancer at 54 years old. However, inscriptions found inside other burials throughout Egypt suggested that the ancient people knew about the toxins. The texts included warnings that certain areas were forbidden because of evil spirits. The study, published in the Journal of Scientific Exploration, explained that high radiation levels were also documented in Old Kingdom tomb ruins, in 2 locations at Giza, and in several underground tombs at Saqqara. The same conclusion was found throughout the Osiris tomb at Giza. Fellows noted that intense radioactivity was associated with 2 stone coffers, especially from the interiors. Professor Robert Temple noted that the coffers were made of basalt, determining that they were a point source of radiation, as opposed to general trace natural levels of radon from the surrounding limestone bedrock. Other studies have directly measured radon gas at various locations in tombs at Saqqara. Radon gas is an intermediate product of uranium decay, with a half-life of 3.8 days. Ambient radon concentrations were identified at 6 locations throughout the Saqqara ruins: the South Tomb, the magazines of Djoser's Pyramid, and the Serapeum tomb tunnels. Thousands of pots excavated under the Step Pyramid in the 1960s contained up to 200 tons of unidentified substances that have yet to be identified, suggesting toxins were buried with mummified remains. Reported strong radiation, as radon, in tomb ruins has been loosely attributed to the natural background from the parent bedrock, Fellows shared. However, the levels are unusually high and localized, which is not consistent with the characteristics of the limestone bedrock, but implies some other unnatural source. On November 4, 1922, Carter's group found steps that led to Tutankhamun's tomb and spent several months cataloging the antechamber. The team opened the burial chamber and discovered the sarcophagus in February the following year. The tomb is considered one of the most lavish to be discovered in history, filled with precious objects to aid the young pharaoh on his voyage to the afterlife. The trove of grave goods included 5,000 items, including solid gold funeral shoes, statues, games, and strange animals. The small size of Tutankhamun's burial chamber, given his standing in Egyptian history, has baffled experts for years. Carter and his team took 10 years to clear the tomb of its treasures. The boy king was an Egyptian pharaoh of the 18th dynasty who ruled between 1332 BC and 1323 BC. He was the son of Akhenaten and took to the throne at the age of 9 or 10. When Tut became king, he married his half-sister, Ankhesenpotten. He died at around the age of 18, and his cause of death is unknown. The young king, however, was plagued with health issues due to his parents being brother and sister. A reconstruction of his face and body showed the world a glimpse of what ailments he may have endured. King Tut had buck teeth, a club foot, and girlish hips. According to the most detailed examination ever of the ancient Egyptian pharaoh's remains, rather than being a boy king with a love of chariot racing, Tut relied on walking sticks to get around during his rule in the 14th century BC, researchers said. A virtual autopsy, composed of more than 2,000 computer scans, was carried out in tandem with a genetic analysis of Tutankhamun's family, which supports evidence that his parents were brother and sister. The scientists believe that this left him with physical impairments triggered by hormonal imbalances, and his family history could also have led to his premature death in his late teens. Various myths suggest he was murdered or was involved in a chariot crash after fractures were found in his skull and other parts of his skeleton. But recently, scientists have suggested King Tut may have died of an inherited illness because only one of the breaks occurred before his death, and his clubfoot would have made chariot racing impossible. Houghton Ashrafian, a lecturer in surgery at Imperial College London, said that several members of the family appeared to have suffered from ailments that can be explained by hormonal imbalances. Evidence of King Tut's physical limitations was also backed up by 100 used walking canes found in his tomb. The ongoing fascination with King Tutankhamun's life and death stems not only from the riches found in his tomb, but also from the complex and mysterious circumstances surrounding his short reign and untimely demise. Despite his physical limitations, the young pharaoh's tomb remains one of the most significant archaeological discoveries of the 20th century, forever enshrining him as a symbol of ancient Egypt's grandeur. While myths of the pharaoh's curse captured public imagination for decades, scientific studies have provided more grounded explanations for the tragic deaths associated with the tomb's discovery. The theory that radiation poisoning, rather than supernatural forces, caused the deaths of Carter's team offers a compelling narrative rooted in biology and environmental hazards. Radon gas, a byproduct of uranium decay, has been found at high levels in multiple ancient tombs, including those at Saqqara and Giza. These findings suggest that the Egyptians, whether knowingly or not, entombed their dead amidst radioactive materials, further fueling the mystery of the curse. The discovery of hazardous substances, including unidentified toxins buried alongside the mummified remains of the elite, hints that the ancients may have understood the dangers of these elements, leading to warnings of forbidden areas. However, whether they were aware of the specific biological effects or simply associated these regions with evil spirits is unclear. In any case, the curse surrounding King Tutankhamun's tomb has transcended time, evolving from a tale of supernatural retribution to one of scientific intrigue. The combination of eerie events, untimely deaths, and the immense wealth found within the tomb has solidified its place in popular culture, inspiring countless books, films, and documentaries. Beyond the curse, King Tutankhamun's legacy also reveals much about Egypt's political and cultural landscape during his reign. His father, Akhenaten, is best known for his controversial religious reforms, which sought to replace the traditional polytheistic worship with the monotheistic worship of Aten, the sun disk. After Akhenaten's death, Tutankhamun quickly restored the old religious practices, reaffirming the power of the priesthood and stabilizing a society thrown into religious turmoil. The boy king's health issues, largely attributed to his parents' close bloodline, have offered modern researchers a glimpse into the genetic consequences of royal inbreeding. The clubfoot, hormonal imbalances, and other ailments identified in his remains paint a picture of a young ruler burdened by physical challenges. Yet, despite these limitations, Tutankhamun's tomb remained a treasure trove of historical and cultural artifacts, providing invaluable insights into the art, craftsmanship, and daily life of ancient Egypt. Today, the treasures of King Tutankhamun's tomb are displayed in museums around the world, with his famous golden death mask being one of the most recognizable symbols of ancient Egypt. The mask, made of gold and inlaid with precious stones, is a testament to the incredible artistry of the time and the reverence with which the Egyptians treated their dead. Though his reign was brief and his death remains shrouded in mystery, King Tutankhamun's story continues to captivate and intrigue, blending science, history, and legend into an enduring tale of one of Egypt's most famous pharaohs. Whether viewed through the lens of ancient superstitions or modern scientific inquiry, the legacy of King Tut lives on, immortalized by both his remarkable tomb and the mysteries that continue to surround his life and death.